18-hour travel day is over, and I'm back in the studio. Literally just dropped my suitcase off and came in here as the Chicago Bears make 4 roster moves ahead of their Week 14 matchup against the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to break it all down right now before I get more into today's show. If you love the Bears and dislike the Green Bay Packers, hit the like button on this video. And along with that, too, you guys know what to do. Let's get the FGB train going before the beginning of Week 14. We are less than 24 hours away. And if you like this video, comment FGB and subscribe to the channel. You automatically enter to win an autographed DeAndre Swift mini helmet when we announced on Monday. And if you hit all notifications, you get an extra entry. Let's go into these Bears roster moves. And along with that, too, the Packers get a big boost ahead of Week 14 against the Chicago Bears. So the Bears bring back offensive lineman Jordan McFadden to the 53-man roster ahead of their matchup against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. McFadden, who was a preseason dog, in my personal opinion, and actually was a hot trade target for a minute, is back on the active roster, especially with some key injuries. So going through it real quick, Jordan McFadden, veteran guard for the Chicago Bears, played for the LA Chargers. Bears brought him in or back to the roster multiple times. They picked him up off waivers last year, and he's been a pretty good asset so far overall for this Bears team. At 6'2", 306 pounds, at 26 years old, he attended Clemson and was the 156th overall pick in 2023 by the LA Chargers. So he was a drafted guy, 5th rounder, not too bad, was pretty well respected coming out of Clemson, played a few years with the Chargers, and then comes to the Chicago Bears, and then during his preseason, 179 snaps, no sacks, no penalty, no hits, 1 penalty, and only 3 hurries. Not bad overall, and I enjoy this move a lot for a variety of different reasons. One, he's a strong veteran. He's been a part of this team for the last 2 years. Along with that, too, Dan Rochar really unlocked him well. He's a strong swing guard on the run. He's fast and athletic for his size. So coming to the 53-man roster provides great depth. And along with that, too, he was a hot trade target at the end of this past preseason. Bears tried shopping him around for a 5th-round pick. Actually did get some interest according to reports, but unfortunately the Bears couldn't pull the trigger. And it ended up working out in their favor considering the fact that he came to the Chicago Bears and now he's backing up for who Luke Newman was. Luke Newman, who came out of Michigan State, was drafted by the Chicago Bears this year, is currently on injured reserve after dealing with an injury that he sustained versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was pretty electric, too, during his time on the field. And, you know, McFadden's an instant plug-in for Newman, a young guy who can play both positions. He was pretty solid during the preseason and did a pretty good job so far in the NFL during very limited snaps. In 25 snaps, nothing bad from this guy. 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 penalties, 0 hurries. Gotta love it. And from this entire thing, I've given flowers to various different Bears assistant coaches, but I want to give one specifically to Dan Rochar. Blank check this guy. If you guys don't know this, Dan Rochar, the Chicago Bears offensive line coach, one great individual, has produced multiple Pro Bowlers, 2 All-Pros in the NFL over the last decade. And along with that, too, was actually in retirement until Ben Johnson called him and said, hey, I want you in Chicago. I hope they gave this man a blank check. The year-over-year comparison of this Bears offensive line is incredible. What he has done with the younger guys like Darnell Wright, Ozzie Trapillo, Theo Benedict, Luke Newman. I mean, the list goes on and on. Very, very good coach for a young squad. And now we have depth from young guys and from seasoned veterans. Along with that, too, you're unlocking the best out of these veterans. Yes, he got Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, and Joe Thuney to be brought in via free agency and trade. But at the end of the day, these guys are playing the best level of football they played in years. Joe Thuney finished 10th last year in Offensive Player of the Year, and right now he's got better stats than he did last year. So does that mean he's going to finish 5th? Does that mean he could be considered Offensive Player of the Year? The impact these guys have had has been great. And also, they've stayed healthy. They've opened up good opportunities for this offense. Number 2 rushing offense in the NFL, and also top 10 in 3 of the 4 major categories. It all starts in the trenches, so shout out to Dan Rochar. That guy is awesome. Blank check him next year. Make sure he stays around. Now, guys, before I get more into today's show, if you haven't already, please could hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news and notifications and help us hit our next goal of 41,300 subscribers. And if you like, comment, and subscribe, you automatically enter to win that autographed DeAndre Swift mini helmet. So you might as well do it. It's free. And you get to stay up to date on all Chicago Bears news. So then earlier this week, just to add to the roster moves that the Bears did, re-sign Brittain Brown back to the practice squad, and now he's on the 53-man roster. So happy to see this, considering I'm a big Brittain Brown fan. You guys can definitely tell by the amount that I talk about him, but this guy rocks. I think he is so underappreciated. Eric Bieniemy has done a fantastic job with him. And Brown coming in as a strong veteran that he is, I mean, listen, he's got to stay here. He is the best running back 3 option for this team. Travis Homer is strictly a special teams guy. Make them running back 5 if that's even possible. But I think he's better than Rashawn Johnson, who's on IR at the moment. Just keep him here. I mean, what he did against the Bengals in one game and what he did for the Bears in the preseason, guy's electric, to say the least. I mean, about 6'1", 205 pounds, so big bully running back that can bulldoze over people. 28 years old, was the 250th overall pick in 2022 by the Las Vegas Raiders. I've talked about this screenshot a lot, but 5 attempts, 37 yards, 7.4 yards per carry against the Bengals with 1 rushing touchdown, 2 first downs. Think about it. 3 of his runs were incredibly important, 2 being first downs, and then another one being a rushing touchdown. This guy rocks. Plain and simple. Better than, he has more stats than Rashawn Johnson and Travis Homer combined. And along with that, too, he's a better running back, in my personal opinion. I think that the Bears should keep him here. I think that the Bears should not let him go anymore. And people are like, Nick, he's not going to get picked up by another team. He has another big game against Green Bay. Another team could pick him up at the end of the season, put him on the 53-man instead of the practice squad. We can't keep waiving this guy. Keep him on the roster at all costs. So let's go a little bit more into it. Bears new linebacker on the 53-man roster. He was brought in a few weeks back, but he did end up coming to Chicago. And that's Jalen Reeves-Mabin, who is a veteran that played for the Detroit Lions while Ben Johnson was there. Great special teamer, one-time Pro Bowler as a special teamer. He is going to be on the Bears 53-man roster against the Green Bay Packers, which during his time with Detroit, he knows what this rivalry means. He knows how to take down those Green Bay Packers, and he's gone against Jordan Love before. So he'll be a depth piece for sure, considering we got TJ Edwards and Noah Sewell back, but good to see him, and maybe we'll see a lot of special teams action out of him. But the 6'1", 226-pound linebacker / special teamer is 30 years old, attended Tennessee, and was the 124th overall pick in 2017 by the Detroit Lions. Going a little bit more into him, 82 total tackles, 53 solo with 2 pass deflections, 4 tackles for loss, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. That wasn't even his Pro Bowl season. During his Pro Bowl season was strictly with special teams, but he still was pretty impactful when called upon for 4 defensive snaps with 1 pass deflection and 1 fumble recovery. He was a captain in Detroit as well, so he's a leader, and he's very involved in the NFL community. So good person to overall have come up. I think it's interesting, though, because the Bears ended up waiving another linebacker to make this happen. This is why maybe this truly is just a special teams move for the Chicago Bears, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Let's go through that news real quick. Is that the Bears waive linebacker Carl Jones Jr., a friend of the show, and he unfortunately will not be on the roster or even the practice squad this upcoming Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers. He's one of those guys that bounces back and forth. He's probably going to get picked up after this week, at least on the practice squad. Bears really do like him. The linebacker out of UCLA, very electric, good overall teammate. Special teamer as well. Good impact overall. I think the jet lag just hit me while I was recording, by the way, so I apologize about that. Well, let's go to Carl Jones Jr. real quick. 6'1", 226 pounds. He is not 30 years old. He's actually 25 years old. He also went to UCLA, but a good player overall because considering the fact that during his time as a linebacker for the Bears, he has 10 total tackles, 2 of them being solo, when very, very limited. But it stinks before Green Bay. I hate that they did it, because I think that he's deserved a right to at least be able to be a part of a historic rivalry, but it's football, baby. It's a business at the end of the day, too. So hopefully we'll see him next week. Now, the final news about today is that the Packers get a big boost. They activated wide receiver Jayden Reed ahead of their Week 14 matchup against the Chicago Bears. This came from Adam Schefter ahead of Sunday's game versus the Bears. The Packers activated wide receiver Jayden Reed off injured reserve. So I love this for Chicago, and here's why. The Naperville native, also Michigan State, former Michigan State wide receiver, gets to go against the Chicago Bears. And now Packers fans are going to be like, oh, we're so much better. This injury thing that the Packers fans do where they're like, oh, well, this game doesn't count because we don't. No. You have one of your best wide receivers out there this upcoming weekend. And I wanted the Bears to shut him down to then shut up those Green Bay Packers fans, which going through him real quick, 5'11", 187 pounds, 25 years old, attended Michigan State, and was a 50th overall pick in 2023 by the Chicago Bears. A lot of Bears fans wanted him and because he is a Naperville native, but good for him making it to the NFL. But he's been out most of 2025, so his stats really aren't that impactful, to say the least. If you go through his 24 stats, so his career year, 55 receptions off 75 targets, 15.6 yards per catch. So this guy was a first down machine. 6 receiving touchdowns and 857 receiving yards, which was a career high. Another good challenge for the Chicago Bears team, and I'm excited for it. But guys, with that, thank you as always for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. If you haven't already, please go like, comment, and subscribe. But with that, thank you as always for this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, I want to hear it loud and proud. Bear down, baby.